Welcome back to our channel. From ancient relics to modern gems, your ultimate coin journey starts here. In 1978, the world was in the midst of the Cold War, the space race was a recent but fading memory, and the world was bracing for the economic challenges that would mark the coming decades. The United States was enduring high inflation and oil crises, which would shape much of the country's economic landscape in the years to come. The U.S. was in the final years of the Carter administration, and America's citizens were looking ahead to a changing world. Yet, amidst all this political and economic uncertainty, something as small as a coin, specifically, the 1978 U.S. one dime, would quietly carry a story of its own, one of rare beauty and remarkable value, especially for those who would come to understand its significance. The 1978 U.S. one dime is, in many ways, like many other dimes that circulated at the time. It features the well-known portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, and a reverse side featuring the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. For most people, this coin would have passed through their hands without much thought, simply as part of everyday transactions. But as with all coins, the story behind the 1978 dime goes deeper, far deeper than its face value of 10 cents. To appreciate why the 1978 dime is valuable today, we must first understand its historical context and what makes certain examples from this year so special. We will explore the coin's design and minting process, how its subtle features might go unnoticed by the casual observer, and ultimately, why a specific subset of these dimes have become highly sought after by collectors. For the coin community, even a dime can carry a great deal of significance. In order to understand the value of the 1978 dime, we must first consider the design, which is one of the most enduring and widely recognized in U.S. coinage. The portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt that appears on the obverse front of the coin has been a constant since 1946. Roosevelt, who served as president during the Great Depression and World War II, was chosen for this honor to recognize his leadership and impact on American history. His image on the dime has become one of the most iconic and lasting representations of 20th-century America. On the reverse side of the coin, the design by John R. Sinek features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The torch represents liberty, the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch is a symbol of strength and independence. The design is simple but powerful, capturing the essence of American values. Since its introduction, the Roosevelt dime has been seen as a symbol of the resilience of the American people and the country's steadfast commitment to democracy and liberty. Now, while the basic design of the dime had been in place since 1946, the 1978 version holds particular importance for a number of reasons. First, in terms of design, there were no major changes to the Roosevelt dime in 1978. It remained part of the series that had been struck for decades. However, it was still a transitional time for U.S. coinage. With the government continuing to evaluate and introduce new designs for various denominations, the 1978 dime serves as a snapshot of this ongoing evolution. Yet, as we will see, it is not the design itself but rather a rare error that makes the 1978 dime so interesting and valuable to collectors today. So, what happened in 1978 that made the dimes minted that year stand out? The truth is, for most of the 1978 dimes produced by the U.S. Mint, they were nothing more than typical coins, designed, struck, and then placed into circulation with the standard Roosevelt design. However, as with many coins, there was a small chance that a minting error could occur. And in the case of the 1978 dime, one such error would make certain examples incredibly valuable. The error in question is known as the 1978 D/D mintmark error. This mistake happened at the Denver Mint, where a die used to stamp the coins was reused with the D mintmark, indicating that the coin was minted in Denver, being improperly applied over another D mintmark. This error created a subtle doubling effect on the mintmark, which can be seen by carefully inspecting the D on the reverse side of the coin. While this error is not immediately noticeable to the casual observer, it stands out to those with a keen eye for detail, and it is precisely this error that has made the 1978 D/D dime such a prized collectible. The mintmark error itself may seem like a minor detail, but in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest imperfection can have a significant impact on a coin's value. The 1978 D/D dime is a prime example of how a small mistake during the minting process can turn a relatively mundane coin into something highly valuable and sought after by collectors. The rarity of the error, combined with the fact that only a limited number of these coins were produced, has made the 1978 D/D dime a coveted item in the numismatic community. When looking for these rare 1978 D/D dimes, collectors will typically turn to professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) to assess the coin's quality. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. A dime that is in mint state, meaning it has little to no wear, scratches, or other damage, will fetch a much higher price than one that shows signs of significant use. High-grade examples of the 1978 D/D dime are incredibly rare and highly valuable, with some coins in pristine condition selling for amounts far exceeding their original face value. In fact, the value of the 1978 D/D dime has been steadily increasing in recent years, with some examples of the coin selling for upwards of $152,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $152,000. This incredible amount reflects not only the rarity of the coin but also the growing demand among collectors for coins with unique and interesting histories. As collectors continue to chase after these rare examples, the prices only continue to rise, making the 1978 D/D dime one of the most valuable dimes in U.S. history. So, how does this happen? How does a coin that originally had a value of just 10 cents end up commanding such a hefty price? The simple answer is rarity, coupled with the passionate interest of collectors. The 1978 D/D dime is an example of a coin error that, over time, has become a highly sought-after item in the numismatic world. The combination of the coin's rare minting error, its historical significance, and the condition in which it is preserved all contribute to its high value. For those who are fortunate enough to own a 1978 D/D dime in excellent condition, the coin represents not just a valuable piece of American history but a true treasure in the world of coin collecting. The story behind the coin, from its accidental minting error to its rise in value, speaks to the dynamic and ever-evolving world of numismatics. Coins like the 1978 D/D dime show us that sometimes the most valuable treasures come from the most unexpected places. As the market for rare coins continues to grow, the 1978 D/D dime remains a symbol of the potential that lies in every coin, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. While many people may pass by a dime without giving it a second glance, for collectors, these small coins can hold immense value. The fact that the 1978 D/D dime has been sold for $152,000 is a testament to the power of rarity and the enduring appeal of coins with fascinating histories and unique characteristics. In conclusion, while the 1978 US 1 dime may seem like just another ordinary coin to the casual observer, it carries with it a remarkable story, one that involves a minting error, the passion of collectors, and a rise in value that few could have predicted. The 1978 D/D dime is now worth a staggering $152,000, a value that reflects both its rarity and the growing interest in rare coin collecting. So, the next time you hold a dime in your hand, remember that sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. In 1988, the United States was in the midst of a dynamic period. The world was transitioning, with the Cold War still ongoing but nearing its end, and the internet was beginning to make its first public waves. Politically, America was under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan, whose administration was shaping the nation's policies and its role on the global stage. At home, the U.S. was experiencing a period of economic recovery, with unemployment rates dropping and the stock market rising. It was, in many ways, a time of optimism, as the country looked forward to the dawn of the 1990s. But amidst the larger events and historical changes of the 1980s, something as small and seemingly insignificant as a coin, specifically, the 1988 US 1 dime, would quietly become an object of value, intrigue, and fascination for collectors and numismatists in the years to come. While most people in 1988 simply used the dime as a regular form of currency, as time went on, collectors started noticing something special about this particular coin. So, let's take a deep dive into the history, design, minting process, and unexpected value of the 1988 dime, and discover why a coin that was worth just 10 cents when it was first minted is now worth a staggering $140,000. To understand the value of the 1988 dime, we need to take a closer look at its design and the historical context behind it. The US dime, in general, is one of the most recognizable coins in American currency, and its design has remained relatively consistent since its introduction in 1796. The dimes that circulated during 1988 were no exception, but the year does stand out for a specific reason: its role in the ongoing tradition of the Roosevelt dime series. Since 1946, the U.S. Mint has struck dimes featuring the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was chosen for the honor of appearing on the dime to commemorate his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The decision to place his image on the dime was made shortly after his death in 1945, and the coin was first minted in 1946. The portrait of Roosevelt was designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. On the reverse side of the dime, there's the classic design that has also remained unchanged for decades. It features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, which together symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, values deeply associated with the United States. These elements were chosen to represent the ideals the country holds dear, and they've been a constant on the dime for more than 70 years. The simple yet powerful design has made the Roosevelt dime one of the most enduring coins in U.S. history. However, while the design of the dime remained the same, 1988 is significant for another reason. It marks the tail end of the long period of consistent minting practices that would eventually give way to modern-day changes in coinage. By the end of the 1980s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning to more advanced technologies and production methods, setting the stage for some of the design changes and innovations that would occur in the following decades. But here's where things get interesting. In most cases, coins like the 1988 dime would circulate for years, pass through thousands of hands, and eventually be worn down or spent. However, in the world of numismatics, even a coin that seems like just another dime can become an object of great interest and value. What makes the 1988 US dime especially valuable, and why has it become a sought-after piece in coin collecting circles? The key to its value lies in a rare but significant minting error. Although the 1988 dimes were supposed to be struck with the traditional design and minting process, a small number of them were struck with an error that would go unnoticed by most people but would later catch the eye of collectors. This error is known as the 1988 double die obverse, which refers to a mistake made during the minting process that causes the coin's design to appear doubled or blurred in certain places. In simpler terms, a double die error occurs when a coin's die is improperly aligned or when the die is used multiple times during the striking process, leading to a slight duplication of the coin's design. In the case of the 1988 dime, the error resulted in a noticeable doubling effect on parts of Roosevelt's portrait and the inscriptions on the coin, such as the word Liberty. While the error might seem subtle at first glance, it's clear enough for a trained eye to notice, and it makes the 1988 double die obverse dime an incredibly rare and valuable item in the world of coin collecting. For most people, a regular 1988 dime is worth just 10 cents. However, finding a 1988 dime with the double die error in good condition can turn that humble coin into something far more valuable. While these error coins are difficult to find, they're prized by collectors because of their rarity and the fascinating backstory that comes with them. A single 1988 double die obverse dime in mint condition can fetch prices in the thousands of dollars, and for the most well-preserved examples, the price tag can soar even higher. But what makes these coins so valuable, and why are they so highly sought after by collectors? There are a few key factors that contribute to the 1988 double die obverse dime's appeal. First and foremost, it's the rarity of the error. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins every year, and even the smallest minting errors can be rare and difficult to come by. The fact that only a small number of these dimes were struck with the double die error makes them much more scarce than the average 1988 dime. And scarcity, of course, is one of the driving forces behind any collectible item's value. Second, the 1988 double die obverse dime is desirable because of its historical significance. Coins like these are windows into the past, and they offer a glimpse into the sometimes unpredictable nature of the minting process. Coin collectors are drawn to these rare and unique pieces because they tell a story that goes beyond the coin's design and purpose as currency. Collectors are also fascinated by the idea that even a small mistake in the production of a coin can result in something extraordinary, making these errors even more valuable. And finally, there's the appeal of collecting itself. Coin collectors are always searching for new and rare pieces to add to their collections, and for many, the thrill of the hunt is just as exciting as the eventual acquisition. With its rarity, historical significance, and distinctive minting error, the 1988 double-die obverse dime has become a coveted item among coin enthusiasts. As the demand for these coins continues to grow, so does their market value, and the prices for high-quality examples have risen steadily over the years. So, what is the current value of the 1988 double-die obverse dime? While the price can vary depending on the condition of the coin and the grading it receives, some of the most well-preserved examples of this rare error have been known to sell for incredible amounts. In fact, the highest-grade 1988 double-die obverse dimes have fetched as much as $140,000 at auction. That's right, a coin worth just 10 cents when it was first minted is now worth $140,000, all thanks to a small but significant minting error and the fascination of collectors. This incredible price tag highlights the sometimes surprising and extraordinary value that can be found in the world of numismatics. Coins like the 1988 double-die obverse dime remind us that even the most seemingly insignificant pieces of currency can become treasures with time, rarity, and a bit of historical luck. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of rare coins, it's clear that the 1988 US dime has earned its place in the annals of numismatic history, and its impressive value is a testament to the excitement and passion that drive the world of coin collecting. To wrap things up, if you happen to come across a 1988 dime in your change, take a closer look. You might be holding onto a rare and valuable piece of American history. Because in the world of coins, even a dime that's worth just 10 cents can hold incredible worth, as much as $140,000, to be exact.